Coming up, Cherokee fiddling.
The fiddle has it's got a unique sound, and there's something about the fiddle that it's a hard way to put it, but it kind of draws you.
The mountain music that found a home in Indian territory and a goal to preserve it for future generations. Plus, fueling the fire, the life of professional boxer Wes Nofire.
You become a different person, you know. I change into someone totally different. Change into someone who's just ready to go to battle, ready to go to war.
And cooking kanuchi with elder Edith Knight, passing on Cherokee traditions through the food we eat.
My mother taught me how to make kanuchi and just about everything that I know how to do. If they like it half as good as I like making it and sharing it with them, I'm happy.
The Cherokees.
A thriving American Indian tribe.
Our history.
Our culture. Our people.
Our future.
The principles of a historic nation.
Sewn into the fabric of a modern world.
Hundreds of thousands strong. Learning.
Growing.
Succeeding.
And steadfast.
In the past, we have persevered through struggle. But the future is ours to write.
Osiyo.
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 These are the voices of the Cherokee people.
Osiyo. I'm Principal Chief Bill John Baker. Welcome to the Cherokee Nation and OsiyoTV. This is how we share our culture, our heritage, our history, and our language with you. Wado.
Osiyo, it's how we say hello in Cherokee. Today we visit an elder who teaches us how to make a traditional Cherokee dish. And we follow professional boxer Wes Nofire to Miami, Florida for his latest match. But first, Jerry Big Feather teaches us how fiddling came to the Cherokee Nation and how he hopes to inspire future generations of musicians.
So we go kilo tasna jakino sela. Todo we then so here kilo juena so yanik look yo. Nanska dinitli yes nikajane ha. Na here jidana. Non dinin hogistis unique luts. Na hen jan land dan blaskiska. And got so they had terno hika and got stiska jadi ha not the laskiska. Fiddling has been a part of the Cherokee culture for many years. Different immigrants that come into America, they introduced fiddling music to the Cherokees. Well, the music all blended together to form, what people used to refer to as mountain music in the Appalachians. And so then Cherokees came from the east down here to Oklahoma and brought some of the music with them. That was their form of entertainment, before days of electricity. And so they would have these square dances, they'd play all night. The fiddle has it's got a unique sound, and there's something about the fiddle that it's a hard way to put it, but it kind of draws you.
I knew that was my thing whenever I first heard my dad play. And that's when I first began to put a fiddle in my hands.
The sound of the fiddle is just something in there, it grows on you. It's part of you. Whenever you play it, it strikes a note in yourself. Your whole being feels it.
I don't know what it is about the fiddle, but it draws people. And if people like music, like most, they'll like the fiddle. Yeah, it's a good pastime. I'd recommend it to anyone to take up fiddle or guitar and just learn to play music.
I started playing fiddle when I was about 7 years old. My father would put this up on the attic, hide it, but I would get it out, play it.
The biggest thing I get out of these is just jamming with people, playing music over in the corner, and pretty soon you got 3 or 4 or 5 people, and here comes some more. Pretty soon you got a whole circle of people, and we're, making some pretty good music sometimes. I'm the coordinator of Cherokee Nation National Holiday Fiddlers Contest. This year we had a pretty good crowd. I think we had about around 20 this year, which is quite a few. And we had probably the largest crowd of the fans that came as well, the listeners. It was a big event this year. When I'd go to fiddle contests or music festivals, and I usually had this fiddle with me, well, I'd ask him for an autograph. Our dad was a fiddle player and a guitar player, and also our grandpa. They both played fiddle. I guess it kind of runs in the family. Actually, our dad played guitar. We had a guitar around the house all the time. I didn't know he played fiddle until after he had passed away.
He was a World War II. He was a World War II veteran, and he farmed. And so the first 3 kids came along. Well, he had some time, I guess. And then the next 3 came along, and that's probably about the time that he had to quit playing, because he was pretty busy by then. He farmed with a team of mules. And but we always had a guitar laying around. And I remember him late in the evening, he'd be sitting on the porch, and he'd be playing. And that's my memories of when I was a child. Great memories.
Let's open them up and let's look at them, okay?
Hey, there's yours, Cross. Can you show us how you open
I hope that the grandkids take it up, because they seem to be interested at this point, and they like fiddling around. Of course, their arms and fingers are a little too short, to really make good clear notes. But in time, kids will grow, and hopefully that they'll pick up on it.
I've always loved music. I've always loved the people that played music. And that's Cherokee fiddling. That's what it means to me, is to be around other Cherokee fiddlers.
Yeah, I told someone not long ago, I said, all those old timers are gone, there's nobody to play with. So he looked at me and he said, I guess you all are the old timers now. So I said, well, you're probably right.
The Cherokee Fiddling Contest that Jerry Big Feather organizes happens every Labor Day weekend as part of Cherokee National Holiday. He travels the country as a professional boxer, but when the gloves come off, Cherokee Nation citizen Wes Nofire is a family man with deep Oklahoma roots.
I've had 19 professional boxing matches, and 19 wins, 0 losses, and 15 knockouts. Most fighters start off with an amateur background. A lot of them have a big, long pedigree of fighting since they were 10, 12 years old. Afterwards, they try to go into the Olympics and they turn pro, and eventually you'll make your way up to the top of the ranks and you'll find out whether you have it or not. In my case, I didn't start boxing until I was 21. I've had a lot of blessings and a lot of good luck, and things happen for me along the way that's allowed me to get this far in my career. Something that I was able to do from the beginning was self-manage myself all the way up until where now I'm signed with Al Heyman, who happens to be one of the most powerful managers in the boxing game right now.
My professional debut was in 2011, and it was at the Hard Rock in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Happened real quick. The moment the bell rung, I didn't even know I was even in the ring. Was the first minute, and then the last 30 seconds, ended up knocking the guy out in the first round.
It's difficult at times, you're away from your wife, you're away from your family. you just want to hurry up as fast as you can to get home. That's the best feeling as you can have, is when you're driving down the dirt road, you're finally like, I'm home, I get to relax, I get to forget about everything that was going on in camp. It's one of the most relaxing feelings you can have.
It's nice to be able to come back in between fights where when I first turned professional, I wasn't able to do that, and it was really difficult at times just to be gone from family throughout the majority of the first part of my career.
My wife, she's super proud of me more than anything. You know, I know she's scared whenever I go in there and fight, but she has a lot of confidence, and without her, I couldn't do any of it.
Early on was always the worst because I didn't get to go with him. You know, you're just sitting at home and biting your nails and waiting for a phone call. I think with each fight I get more comfortable, but with each new opponent, you know, you get more scared. You just know the next one's gonna be progressively harder, but we just say a lot of prayers, and I just, you know, this is his life and this is what he loves, and all I can do is be here to support him.
She's my supporting factor. She's the person that gives me confidence whenever I sometimes don't believe in my own self.
My dad is full-blood Cherokee. He grew up in Adair County right outside of Stillwell.
Me and my dad's very close. You know, I consider him one of my best friends. He'd come home from work, I'd come home from school, and we'd immediately go to the lake and start fishing. And so we've had conversations about everything. So I attribute almost everything of growing up to be the man that I am now is to my dad and all the influences he's had with decision makings through my whole entire life. Everyone's nervous in my family. My dad definitely is nervous. He's the kind of guy that will walk up and almost want to walk out of the rooms and just start pacing around when I start fighting. My mom, on the other hand, when she would come to my fights, she'd be trying to jump in the ring, yelling and screaming and getting excited about it. She passed away before I turned pro, so she wasn't around to see it, but she's always in my corner for every single fight. She's was, like I said, my #1 fan before she passed away, and she still is my #1 fan. She just cheers from somewhere else. Leading up to a fight, your mind starts setting a different tone for your whole entire way you live. The whole week leading up to it, it's just, you become a different person, you know. I change into someone totally different. Change into someone who's just ready to go to battle, ready to go to war. Whenever I get to go weigh in and I finally get to see my opponent face to face, that's whenever it's just, there's only one thing that's on my mind. I have to see this guy and I have to fight him. You're looking for any kind of motion in him that's something that you can pick on. You're finally getting to square off with the guy. You're getting to size him up, okay? I'm gonna know where he's at. I'm gonna know how high to throw my punches. On the other hand, you're being sized up. But of course, come fight night, it just all goes out the window. You're gonna see what really someone has whenever it's fight night. I've had naysayers my whole entire life. Whenever I started boxing, people, even as an amateur, was just like, you can't be you're too little, you know, you're too skinny. Even this last fight, a lot of people think that I was too much of a step up. I was fighting a guy who had a good record. He had 300 amateur fights. He was a junior world champion amateur fighter. They thought he was gonna be too much for me to step up, and I stepped up to the challenge, didn't believe anything they said, and proved everybody wrong. I don't think too much about what I've accomplished. I guess I've just been blessed. Anybody else can go out there and do things. Anybody from any rural area has the opportunity, and it doesn't matter where you're from. As long as you have faith in yourself and you have a good support system around you, you can go accomplish anything.
By 1835, Cherokees had been negotiating with the federal government for years, even going to the Supreme Court, trying to protect their fertile, resource-rich homelands in the southeastern U.S. But on December 29, 1835, an unauthorized faction of Cherokees signed this infamous document, the Treaty of New Echota. The treaty ceded all Cherokee lands east of the Mississippi River to the United States in exchange for lands out west and $5 million, which wasn't paid until the 1900s. While the treaty was overwhelmingly protested by the majority of Cherokees, it was too late. Our tribal members were removed from their homes and forced to move to Indian Territory on what's been named the Trail of Tears. 3 years after the treaty was signed, on December 31, 1838, President Martin Van Buren signed this document, the Cherokee Nation Land Patent. The patent provided the Cherokee Nation with the title to its new tribal lands, which totaled 13.5 million acres in what is now the state of Oklahoma. These two documents ultimately secured the Cherokee Nation the right to make and carry out laws, as the Cherokees deemed necessary, to govern and protect the people and property within their own country. They are still referenced today in legal proceedings. The Cherokee Nation has been busy making headlines. We opened a new hotel and learned what kind of an economic impact the Indian gaming industry is having on the state of Oklahoma. But first, we learn about the Cherokee Nation's huge donation to restore a historic Cherokee building. The Cherokee Nation is helping preserve Northeastern State University's most iconic building with a $4 million donation presented by Principal Chief Bill John Baker in a special ceremony. Seminary Hall in Tahlequah, Oklahoma, currently houses NSU's College of Liberal Arts Administration, faculty, and classrooms, serving more than 1,700 students. Originally the Cherokee Female Seminary, it was built by the Cherokee Nation nearly 130 years ago and was the first institution of higher learning for women west of the Mississippi River. University officials say the building is not currently equipped for 21st century technologies or learning environments.
With the contribution that was made today, the funding will be used solely to do an update or renovation of this building, certainly so that it can be preserved now for generations to come.
The $4 million Cherokee Nation gift will help preserve, renovate, and repurpose Seminary Hall. It will become a multi-purpose building with a museum, modern classrooms, and administrative departments. This is the largest contribution to date for the university's Preserve Our Past, Ensure Our Future campaign. A new study by the Oklahoma Indian Gaming Association shows the state of Oklahoma has collected nearly $1 billion from the tribal gaming industry in the last 10 years. Oklahoma voters overwhelmingly approved the State Tribal Gaming Act in 2004, allowing Oklahoma tribes and horse racing tracks to operate Las Vegas-style casino games. At that time, the state projected $71 million a year in revenue from gaming, which turned out to be far less than actual collections. Cherokee Nation officials say this study shows tribal governments make our state stronger. The Cherokee Nation alone has a $1.5 billion impact on Oklahoma's economy and is a significant part of the overall tribal economic impact on the state. The very first Cherokee Nation bingo outpost opened in 1990 in Roland, Oklahoma, and now more than 25 years later, the nation has opened a state-of-the-art hotel there. It's part of a new 170,000 square foot entertainment complex and is connected to the new Cherokee Casino, which opened in Roland last year. The 6-story hotel has 120 rooms, a 5,000 square foot convention center, and with the casino, adds 300 jobs to the local economy.
You know, we've got the parking garage, the hotel rooms are fabulous. This is just a great day and a far cry from the gaming facility and the old sewing factory that has served us well for the last 20 years here in Roland.
Cherokee Casino and Hotel Roland is located on Interstate 40 near the Oklahoma-Arkansas border, just west of Fort Smith, Arkansas. To read more Cherokee Nation news, go to Osio.tv and click on links mentioned.
Jalagi iniwoni. Let's talk Cherokee. January. Unola Tana.
Unola Tana.
It is winter in January. Gola no. Ke soi. Unola Tani. Katla'i.
Gola no. Ke soi. Unola Tani. Katla'i.
bear, Yona.
Yona.
The bear took a nap, Yona. Slaga, Gaslana.
Yona. Klaga. Gaslana.
Snow, Unchi.
Unchi.
It is snowing outside. Gutia, Doya Titla.
Guti a. Doya di shan.
Edith Knight grew up in the heart of the Cherokee Nation, learning how to cook traditional Cherokee foods. Today, she shares some of that knowledge and her recipe for kanuchi, trying to keep some of the tastiest Cherokee traditions alive.
My name is Edith Knight. I'm a Cherokee National Treasure. My craft was traditional clothing, but I'm also involved in food, traditional foods. I had three brothers and two sisters, and my dad was a full-blood, but my mama was Scotch-Irish. I went to school at Chalk Bluff, and of course had to walk to school, rain, sleet or snow, whatever. Some of the kids that went to school talked Cherokee, but the teachers didn't like for them to do that. They got in trouble if they talked Cherokee to each other while we're in grade school. So I did not learn to speak it. I knew who my husband was quite a while before we ever got together. When I was in high school, there was always some young men that would drive their cars around the block of the high school. So we'd be sitting out on the lawn waiting to go back into class. So we'd get to watching them drive their cars around the block. So I spied him, and I liked his car. So when we got together, he was, like I said, he was just bashful. But we got along, and our backgrounds were similar, so it made it all right. And I tell everybody, I chased him till he caught me. I guess we'll just hold each other up for the rest of the years we've got together. My mama always made my clothes. She would take the clothing that we outgrew and she'd make it into a quilt top. But that made me like to sew, I guess. I guess that's where I got the liking to sew, was to watch her. I didn't start traditional clothing until my grandchildren come along, the tear dresses. And I made a few shawls. They wanted to be in the little Mr. and Miss Cherokee contest, so I just learned how to make their clothes. As my mother would be cooking, well, I would have my little nose up there to see what she was doing. My mother taught me how to make kanuchi and just about everything that I know how to do. Kanuchi is hickory nuts and rice cooked together. When the hickory nuts are ready to harvest, they will fall, and it's usually along about October, last of October, when they start falling. And a lot of them will fall with this outer hull, but when they hit the ground, they'll burst open and you can just pick them up. And from here, we crack them into a smaller piece, and then they're ready to grind in the canon. This is called a canon. This block is called a canon. After the hickory nuts have been pounded, you make it into a ball. You take that ball and then you break it up and drop it down into water boiling. Cook it at least 10 minutes to get rid of all the bacteria. And then after that's cooked, then I run it through a sieve to get rid of the larger hulls. And then I cook that again, until it's, the juice will start to thicken a little bit. And then I run it through a strainer to get the rest of the hulls out. And then I take that, I call it slurry. It's just so liquid, and I add that to cooked rice and add sugar to it. And that's it. That's top of my world. I like to see people eat. I like for them to enjoy what they're eating. If they like it half as good as I like making it and sharing it with them, I'm happy. I guess what I would like for people to remember me is that I like to be thought of as a giving person, a loving person, and I guess that's about all I could ever want. Just remember that. Learn as much as you can about your history, because it's important to know who you are, where you come from, and I think it makes you a stronger person whenever you find out what all the Cherokees has had to go through. I think that's what us Cherokees are. We're strong. We're really stronger than what we think we are. And I like that.
Next time on Osiyo, Voices of the Cherokee People. Brian Jackson is known as the I Believe guy. He's broken 12 world records, and OsiyoTV is there as he makes his final attempt. We'll have his story and more next time on Osiyo, Voices of the Cherokee People. We hope you enjoyed our show, and remember, you can always watch entire episodes and share your favorite stories online at Osiyo.tv. There is no Cherokee word for goodbye. We say, Donadagwa ha'e, wado.
I think it's important to be active because it's fun and it just keeps me in shape.
CHIP is that extra insurance that covers the cost in case there's an injury. We can get your family covered with insurance.